So I would like to introduce you to crazy_0817. Now I'm going to pause this again because it's very apparent, at least to me, but this is one of those things where it's unlike the people that we have. Look at the amount of failing going on here. This is what's going on with Gaijin servers right now. Every file is failing, and I don't know why, but look at 1,200 files failing all over again. Obviously not very good. He has obviously his standard, 2 premiums they get, and well, 3 technically, but he's like not good. So my theory with this is, it's like I said, I have theories for every account that I look at, but a lot of this to me looks like a person that got sick of the game and started cheating. Oh, not add friend. Don't do that. Yes, do move that. But yeah, so it's obviously it's a Chinese squadron. I don't know when he joined. I didn't look exactly when he joined, but it's probably going to be relatively recent in terms of the way this would be. Or even not, actually. I have no idea. I'm not going to search through 120 odd players based on... Yeah, I don't care. Anyway, Chinese squadron, they have some sort of recruitment, and apparently they offer some sort of free gift according to their translations, and this is still failing. Yeah, to me, this is a more subtle player when it comes to actual cheating, because he doesn't react at every little instance or notion of a player crossing the road. However, you can see him doing this, which, yeah, my markers are on. Just looking at people straight through terrain. If you're going to look like this at people, you're cheating. Now, granted, I know you can sometimes randomly look in directions of people, like knowing what's going on, but you don't do that. And you'll see up here in a sec that he does the more obvious things of like shooting people through entire layers of forests, which we've seen a lot from these guys recently. Now, like I've said before, so you see that he scouts the guy through the hillside there, and that guy is all the way through that forest. Sees our friend here, looking straight at him, and you wouldn't be able to hear him until about now. But yeah, so he's shooting him, then switches targets to the wolf pack that he didn't even see. I did look at this replay on ULQ as well, and for all the people who are like, it's ULQ. Yeah, I mean, you might play on ULQ, but there's no way that you're seeing the fact that this is just wrong and it's not working correctly. And, I'm hoping something does work. Now, I was going to bring something up in my last video that I thought was kind of interesting. So, recently, if you know anything about GTA changed their entire anti-cheat over to BattlEye, and it basically kicked every person on Linux off of BattlEye. Now, what this is weird about is that obviously Rockstar has made a ton of money off of GTA. The game has done really well. It's very profitable. But Linux didn't need to be dropped because Linux is what the Steam Deck uses. So it makes no sense for them to drop it because people would be able to play GTA on Game Deck. Now, they can't do it anymore because Rockstar didn't email BattlEye about the game being converted to Linux, the game being converted to BattlEye for Linux players, and now people on Linux can't play the game at all. And what's even more funny is they switched it to BattlEye for the purpose of mitigating cheating, and the cheaters cracked the code within 2 days. Because Rockstar hasn't fixed any of this, because it's the same route with every game company that tries to do any sort of anti-cheat or BattlEye or some sort of fix to their game. So another thing I meant to bring up is that there was actually something that Windows, or at least Microsoft, was planning on doing. So Microsoft is actually planning on making it to where no system outside of main programs would be able to have access to a kernel level system. So that means anti-cheats wouldn't technically be able to access kernel level of the system. It's the reason why direct memory access devices that these cheaters use actually work really well with the system, and it's why that direct memory access or these sort of filter in style cheats from either other computers or like I said, a direct memory access to the motherboard actually is very hard or almost impossible to detect. Windows 11, apparently after the recent CrowdStrike incident that happened that shut down a lot of airports across the US, and I believe some worldwide ones. But the biggest thing with this is that CrowdStrike got hacked. It was because of core level conflicts that there's occurred, and I believe what is occurring is that Windows or Microsoft is planning on removing that core level to your kernel level to only OS systems. Now, granted, people are smart. They might get around that. I don't know specifically in the future. But based on people I've talked to from a software standpoint, it's actually a pretty big step up in actual security for systems. It would prevent a lot more damage going forward on certain incidences, and the fact that we obviously want things to be more secure, and that might be the case if it is actually, this system is actually done. Now, granted, this would only affect newer systems, I believe Windows 11 and going forward. But, and you see here, he's not even using his lock-on at all, because the lock-on works in replays now, and he's not even using the lock-on there, so that should give you a great indication. Also, he didn't bring any HEVT, so I don't understand that logic either. And, you know, staring at people through all levels of terrain and everything. So, but in that regard, if cheaters didn't have access to the core level of the game, or even the core level of any game, then cheating would be significantly harder, based on people that I've talked to on this. So, yes, there will probably always be roundabouts to this. However, if it becomes to a point, and this is also the reason why, if you've seen anything with Windows, if you've ever read anything about it, Windows, or like I said, Microsoft is pushing away from Windows 10 to Windows 11 because they're going to be implementing this system on Windows 11, and eventually, this game might actually have to be pushed towards Windows 11 because of the fact that they are no longer going to support it on the system. So I know, for instance, I think it's by the end of this year or next year, Windows 10 isn't even going to be supported anymore, and you'll have to either pay for the copy out or go from there. So a lot of groups and people are going to have to upgrade their systems to make sure everything functions properly, so if you can have security updates. Now, granted, you don't need them if you just are running Windows or whatever, but granted, you might start having more corruption issues or errors on your system if you don't upgrade your system up. So I need to do a little bit more research on this myself, because I'm not entirely sure about all of the research on this regardless. So I will be doing more research on this as it goes forward, and to see if obviously more can be figured out on this regard. But in that regard, it means that obviously, one, Rockstar's an idiot. Who would have guessed that Rockstar is an idiot and didn't do their research correctly on Linux? And two, if Windows and Microsoft actually implement it correctly, it could actually help prevent some of the more blatant cheats that are going on within the gaming industry. So it could actually make cheating a lot harder, and would go back to the point where only very expensive cheats would be available because of all this work that has to be done. So right now they're very cheap. People have readily access to them. They're extremely invasive still, because obviously if you do download cheats from any of these people, they have essentially core level access to your own system, which is why you shouldn't be downloading these things or buying them in the first place. Because essentially, if someone found out who you were and they wanted to steal your information, well, they would have a backdoor access to your entire system, and they wouldn't even need to care about that. So I'm going to leave this here. As always, if you have a person in question you want to leave as a replay to me, just try to follow my pinned comment below. And as always, I hope you have a good rest of your morning, day, evening, or night, and have a good one.